Good morning, good morning, good morning, Facebook family. Good morning, good morning, good morning. They are building us an audience. I pray that this live feed finds you well and blessed. Aunt Gertha, it's good to see you this morning. Good morning. Hope everything's okay down there. Sister Tammy, one of the members of Chosen G, good to see you this morning. Sister Martha Brooks, down in the third greatest state of Mississippi. Good to see you this morning, sis. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for being here this morning. My prayer is that, this live feed finds you well and everything is good where you are and where you are occupying space at this time, at this minute, and that God is blessing you. Before we get started here this morning, just a few housekeeping notes. If you could, there should be a share button on your video feed. Just click that, share that with some folks. Be sure to go onto our Facebook page, Get Me Through Wednesday, and like that page. There's also some other videos from past videos that are out there. Also go on to Cedric Nelm's YouTube page. Subscribe to that. We're going to be starting a discipleship training here at the end of the month. So we'll have some discipleship videos that will be up on our Facebook, on our YouTube page. Byron Moses, my brother from another, good to see you, bro. Pastor Jay, always good to have you, man. Man, my godson, Dominique, good to see you, brother. Yvette, my road dog from our Clark, Atlanta Morehouse days, good to see you this morning, sis. Hope all is well with you. This morning, I wanted to, and I don't want to hold you guys too long this morning, but just wanted to share some thoughts. As always, God always gives me things, and sometimes I want him to give it to me the day before, but he always waits until the morning of this Get Me Through Wednesday. And one of the things that I woke up with on my heart this morning was when I was a kid growing up, and I think my parents still do this. When I was a kid growing up, I'm the youngest child of five. So my mom and dad have five kids, and I'm the baby of them. As the baby, I grew up in a house to wherein all my brothers and sisters were older than me, so they were out of the house. The funny thing when I was growing up as a kid was my mom and dad both worked. My mom was a professional and she worked outside the home, but she would cook a hot meal every day. So it was only on maybe Friday nights and probably Saturdays because of sports that I was involved in. Coach Harper, good to see you. Because of sports that I was involved in, my mom cooked dinner every night. And so for a week, she would come home from work and she'd cook dinner. And like I said, it was only on Saturdays if I had a game at the park, playing baseball, basketball, or football or something like that. That would be when I did not eat at home. So throughout the week, my mom would cook pretty much a fresh meal every night. But then when we get to the weekends, usually Fridays, we would have leftovers. And so as a kid growing up, I used to eat leftovers. Well, we juxtapose that or fast forward it to now as an adult. I get teased by my wife and my kids because I don't eat leftovers. So if we go out to a restaurant or if my wife cooks something, usually I'll eat it the next day. But then after that, I don't want any more leftovers. So I think subconsciously I have this thing about leftovers. And my sons particularly tease me because if we go out to eat and we bring home quote unquote doggy bag of food left over. They always say, "Well, Dad, you gonna eat?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna eat it. You guys don't touch it," because my sons just always want to eat whatever's in the refrigerator. Hey, Montreal, good to see you, bro. They always want to eat what's in the refrigerator. So I'm always telling them, "Hey, man, get your hands off my food." But it's funny because then if I don't eat it the next day, it just stays there. And they're like, "Well, Dad, we were asking if you were going to eat it, and you said you were going to eat it. So now the food is ruined. It's got to go in the trash." My point is, and this is what I want you to get out of this, get me through Wednesday. Stop leaving people your leftovers. Too many times, we leave folks our leftovers. We leave folks our leftovers in our relationship. We leave folks leftovers when it comes to raising our children. Hey, Keisha, we leave folks leftovers as far as our job is concerned. We even leave folks our leftovers when it comes to ministry. What I mean by that is that a lot of times we operate, we're operating at a speed and at a pace to wherein we're going. We're working, we're striving, we're trying to be the best that we can possibly be as people. But sometimes our most valued relationships, we usually give them the leftovers. So when it comes down into a marriage, we're working, and yeah, we love our spouse, we love our partner, we love our girlfriend, we love our boyfriend, whatever the case might be. And we're working every day. Whatever we're doing, we're toiling. We're plowing the field, so to speak. Sister Gloria, good to see you. We're plowing the field, so to speak. But then when we get so tired and we get so exhausted, all we have left for our partner and our spouse and our girlfriend and boyfriend is leftovers. And then we want them to be satisfied with what is left over. We do the same thing with church and ministry, and I'm talking to my pastors, my pastor friends. A lot of times we are working all week long to Sunday. But then we leave our families with the leftovers. We leave sometimes our church members with leftovers. But at the same time, even within church nowadays, and I'm trying to work on this sermon series on worship, because sometimes we come to church with our leftovers and we want to give that to God. And then we want to negotiate with God and say, well, this is all I got. That's not true. It clearly states that we should give God our first fruits, not what's left over. So today I want us to engage ourselves in a deeper understanding of we got to give our best. That means we give our best to worship. That means we give our best when we're serving in church. That means we give our best when it comes to our partner and our spouse. That means we give our best to those of us who have children. Stop giving your children your leftovers and expecting them to be okay with what you're giving them. You should give your children your best because you're asking them to give you your best, their best. Too many times in this time period, this what we're living in, whatever you want to call it, we are too busy giving folks our leftovers. We give our friendships our leftovers. I get to you when I can, man, and then you want to give folks what you got. Stop giving people that. People don't want leftovers. Just like I am about leftovers as far as food is concerned, there are some people that don't want your leftovers. There are some people who want you to give them 100%. There are some people who want all of you. And yes, I know that that's difficult because most of us are split in so many different directions. I did a list for a friend of mine who's helping me put some things in place as far as personal ministry and also my church ministry. And I gave him a list and he said, you're doing it. He said, you are involved in a lot of different things. But his concern to me was, are you okay with running at this pace, and how long can you run at this pace? I was sharing with my good friend, Pastor Pete, this weekend. He said, well, what are some things that you can take out? What are some things that you don't have to do? And I'm doing that. That means that sometimes I can't be at every meeting. That means sometimes I can't go to every conference. That means sometimes I can't sit down and engage with everybody. Sometimes I need, going back to the Get Me Through Wednesday we did a few weeks ago with Sabbath, sometimes I just got to disengage. And that is for someone listening in. Sometimes it's okay for you to disengage so that you don't leave folks with your leftovers. People don't want your leftovers. People want the best of what you have. That means you got to give the best to your relationship. And as soon as I say that, my beautiful bride logs on to the Get Me Through Wednesday. Hey, babe, good to see you. Stop giving folks your leftovers. People want the best of what you have. That means that sometimes in your relationship, you need to go to a relationship retreat. It's not saying that there's anything wrong with your relationship, but sometimes you need to do the PMs on your relationship, called preventative maintenance. That means sometimes you have to stop what you're doing. And yes, making money is great. I'm not a person that says that you don't need to make money. Money allows for us to do some things and to maybe live a life that does not have to be a struggle fest. But sometimes your kids need your presence. Sometimes your kids don't really care how much money you got in the bank. They don't care if they got the new J's or not. They do care about if you're there. If you're picking them up from school, if you're dropping them off to school, if you're going to the parent school teacher conferences, if you're going to back to school night, that's what they care about. So my point is this morning is some of us are operating in this season of leftoverness. Stop giving people your leftovers and expecting them to be happy because you just gave that to them. Some people want more than that. We go to work and we get upset. Let me put it to you like this as we're wrapping up. When you look at the structure of corporate America and when you work for a company, typically if you have a good year. So the job that I used to work at was in, we were manufacturers. It was a manufacturing company. And so typically we operated in the realm of, if we had a good year production wise, we always knew going into the new year, we would probably get a raise, some form of a raise. When you work in corporate America, typically the raise that you get is what's left over. I know I just blew somebody's mind. I'm sorry. That's not the first fruit. See, typically the CEO, the board of directors, all the high up folks that you either see or sometimes don't see or only see when they're coming in to do a review or when they're coming in to fire you. Those folks are what gets the first fruits. The raise that you get is what's left over. And sometimes that means that you don't get what the top boss gets. You get a percentage of what they brought in. I'm going to let that lament for you for a minute. Because if that's what you're giving people, you're not giving people everything that they deserve. You're giving them what you think they deserve. So sometimes you got to sit down and ask the question of, what is it that I can do for you? How can I feed your spirit today? So I don't know who that was for. Like I said, God gives me these things and sometimes I'm like, okay, Lord, I don't really know what you want me to do or how you want me to connect that. But somebody needed to hear today. Stop giving folks your leftovers. If you are part of a church ministry, stop giving that church and the pastor your leftovers. Give them the best that you got. Because God ain't giving you his leftovers. When he woke you up this morning, you were the first thing that was on his mind. God's not giving you his leftovers. He's giving you the best that he has. Therefore, don't give your children your leftovers. Give them the best. Don't give your spouse or your partner or your boyfriend or your girlfriend your leftovers. They better than that. They deserve better than that. Don't go to that job and give them your leftovers. Because when you need time off, you want your time off. And when you get that, when you get to the end of 2 weeks, you want your paycheck. You don't want what's left over. You want the full amount of what you put into that job. So give them the full amount of time that you have. For your business, stop giving your business the leftovers. You'll get to it when you can, and you just kind of throw it together or whatever the case might be. No, give it your full dedication and commitment. Pastors, stop giving your church your leftovers, man. Give them everything that you got. As I was told coming up in the ranks, preach like it's your last Sunday to preach. Don't give folks your leftovers. Because just like as a kid growing up, I had to eat leftovers, to where now as an adult, I don't like leftovers no more. If I can keep from it, I won't eat leftovers unless it's real good. And Sister Karen usually cooks some good stuff, so I do eat leftovers sometimes. Be blessed, you guys. Go walk in that today. Hopefully it fed your spirit. Hopefully that was a get me through that you needed. Stop giving folks your leftovers, okay? Give them the full benefit of having 100% of you. Be blessed. I'm Pastor Said. Don't forget to share this. Don't forget to go on to our Facebook page, Get Me Through Wednesday, and like it. Don't forget to go on our YouTube page called Cedric Nelms. Subscribe to that. Like I said at the top, we're going to be putting up some discipleship training stuff on our YouTube page. So be engaged with that. Pastor Harold, good to see you, sir. But feed this to somebody today. Help somebody understand. Stop giving leftovers, man. Give them everything that you got. All right, I'm Pastor Said. As always, I love you. God loves you best. Don't forget to come back next Wednesday and get another Get Me Through Wednesday. Be blessed, and I'll see you later.